Main phase.
Hello, and welcome to a one-off stream where I'm going to be looking at a new edition in MAME. This time it is Mrs. Dynamite, a game from Universal that was meant to be released in 1982, but as far as we know, might not have been. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any record of it actually being released. We have flyers, but nobody really remembered it. There were the odd screenshot in magazines, flyers, like I said, but there's no record of it actually being released. So a board turned up in the US recently, and it was dumped, and Frank Palazzolo emulated it, and he added it to the Universal driver because it's on very similar hardware to Ladybug. And so here we have Miss Dynamite, Mrs. Dynamite, even not Miss Dynamite. It's not Miss Pac-Man, it's Mrs. Dynamite. Now, if you've been watching the pre-stream little window, you might have seen it's a game where you go around blowing people up with dynamite, the monsters, and that is pretty much it. So I am now going to switch to the other view. It's a vertical game. I'm going to full screen it, and I'm going to put in a credit. So, yeah, turn down a little bit loud. So you walk around the maze, you collect the dynamite. When you collect the dynamite, you get 3 sticks of dynamite that you can then drop, and you've got to avoid the enemies. The enemies will try to throw the barrels at you. The barrels don't kill you outright, but they will push you back. You can run into them, and obviously not in this situation, but if you've got enough room, you can stop them before you get crushed. This is obviously not a good start. If you group enemies and kill more than one at once, you get more points. And that's basically how it plays. There's a few more details. When you've got no dynamite, it'll beep like this, so you know you've got to go and collect more dynamite. And there we go. That's a stage clear. Yeah, one of the things that has been speculated is maybe Universal weren't sure who they wanted as a mascot, so they tried Mrs. Dynamite, but Mr. Do just stuck, so they went with Mr. Do. But we really don't know. I mean, it said the CEO of Universal USA had no idea of this game even existing, so it's either one that is completely forgotten, or it was tested by the Japanese division and never even mentioned to the US. Now, there are a few other features in this game which I'll get to shortly, but for now I'm going to try and clear a few mazes. The barrels are quite powerful. The barrels will crush dynamite, so if you place some dynamite and the enemies roll the barrel over it, like there, see, it will crush the dynamite, which is not what you want to happen, because that's a waste of dynamite. You obviously can blow yourself up, which isn't clever. But, yeah, I think maybe one of the issues is this was 82, and things had moved on a little bit by 82. I mean, if you consider Pac-Man was like 80, might have been considered a bit behind the times. Oh dear, I've trapped myself. But it's still an enjoyable game. I played a little bit of it in the past few days while preparing for the stream, checking out what the game can do, what any hidden features it might have. One or two I will show you shortly that might not be immediately obvious. One happens if you use up all the dynamite on the stage. Oh yeah, the barrels don't do anything to the enemies, which is really odd. You would have thought maybe there'd be an animation of the enemies jumping over the barrels, but no, the barrels will just pass straight through enemies. And you get this little cutscene with the locomotion playing. So, hey, Super Volteca and Mitchell and Thomas. Thank you for joining the stream. It's good to see you here. I'm guessing none of you have played this game before because it's kind of rare. Let's enter my name. I got plenty of letters. There we go. I have the first place. So the presentation is fairly minimal, and if we look at the tile set, there's not that much in here. You've got your title logo at the top. You've got your fonts, your title logo, the cutscene graphics. That's really about it for that. Lives counters. I do notice issues in some of the tiles, which has probably just not been tidied up yet. I don't think they're a bad dump, although the ROM does fail the internal check. It's off by a value off by 1, so it's possible the ROMs are suffering from bit rot or something, but we'll probably never know unless somebody finds an actual bug that's connected to a bad bit in the ROM. These are the sprite tiles. Again, you've got your character moving with and without dynamite, you've got death, you've got explosions, you've got the one enemy type, you've got your points, you've got your bomb explosions, and you've got your barrels, and lots of blank tiles. So basically what you're seeing is what's there. Sort of like the Peter Gunn's theme in Spy Hunter. Possibly. I mean, like I say, if they got the locomotion, I don't think they were going entirely original with the music here. What do I want to show this time? Let me waste all the dynamite. I'm just going to pick up all the dynamite and clear it out the map, because then you can see what happens. Right. You can only have one dynamite active at a time as well, so that's something to keep in mind. But there we go. Now there's no dynamite left in the map after this. And it does this countdown at the top of the screen, which if you survive, it then does super dynamite. It drops a bomb into the middle of the playfield, which you can then get. And then you've got the super dynamite, which is a bigger explosion. And, you know, then regardless if you complete the level or not, it moves on. But I guess if you get the super explosion, you manage to take out loads of all the enemies at once, you're going to get a huge bonus. So there might be some strategy to doing that, if you're good enough at it. Otherwise, yeah, this is the game. It's a very simple game. It's from '82. It's more playable than, say, some of the other potentially prototype games that were shown up recently. There we go. You see, I stopped the barrel that time, because you can do that if you do it for long enough. But again, there's no point in pushing them back into the enemies, because they just go straight through the enemies. I died at the same time. Oh dear. No, I'm not doing too well this time. I will play through a few stages with save states in a bit. I blew myself up. Hey Christian, thank you for joining. Well, I mean, I'm kind of glad of that in some ways, Thomas, because it means you're seeing new things on the stream. Anyway, I'm going to reset now, and I'm going to try and play this with a few save states. So let's save state the start of the level, because it'd be nice to, you know, clear a few more stages so you can see how things go and how it ramps up the difficulty. But yeah, this will be supported in MAME 0. Let's get that. In MAME 0.232, which should be out at the end of the month. Now, obviously, you can carry more than 3 sticks at once. I think you can carry 6. So, yeah. And then you can carry 5. So, you have to know when it's best to pick up the dynamite, so you're not wasting it. Also, note, the barrels can't be destroyed by dynamite. Those are the strongest barrels in the world ever. Doesn't quite seem logical, but it's a game. Hey Cosmic, thank you for joining. And yeah, it is nice to see a new old game, especially one that, you know, was potentially lost, because a lot of these older prototypes or very rare games at this point, the odds of them turning up go down with every passing day, really, don't they? So it's nice to see this one, and it's an enjoyable little game. I think the concept could have been expanded on a little bit. And like I say, there's a few things that feel a bit out of place, like the barrels going straight through the enemies. But if you look at the instruction sheet on the flyer, it doesn't state anything about crushing enemies with barrels, so I think that's just the game design. It maybe could have just done with a bit of extra animation to indicate them jumping over the barrels. I don't know, I think in the Japanese version the barrels are rocks and the dynamites are cherries, or something like that. It looks very different on the Japanese flyer, but the chance of the Japanese version showing up are, you know, very remote too. Oh dear, I've lost a life. Let's just make a save state and try not to lose too many lives. Now the enemies are quite intelligent in the sense they will throw the barrels at you when they see you, as opposed to just throwing them around randomly. So if you move in front of an enemy when they've got a barrel, they will throw it at you. The AI does seem fairly good. Not unfair, but not stupid. There's not much dynamite left in this level, unfortunately. But can I group them? Oh no, they've got me. Right, okay. Let's load the save state. Yeah, Simon, this is. I mean, it's old and interesting as well. It's. I mean, I'm surprised it turned up. It's one of those I'd kind of written off any chance of us ever seeing. But here it is, and I'm playing it. And that's one of the fun things about emulation. Sometimes things you think are lost for good will show up. I got to level 10 earlier. With save states, but I wasn't dying on level 3 earlier. I think I'm rushing it. Yeah. So the maze has changed. Just say each one's a little bit different. I don't know how many unique mazes there are, or if the game loops. I've not played it that much yet. But, I mean, considering how popular other games with bombs, such as Bombman, became, you kind of think Universal could have been onto a winner here had they promoted this game a bit more, or even released it. If we assume it wasn't released. Oh, got no dynamite. It's simple and addictive. Hey R09 and hey Aaron too. Thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy seeing this new old game. Because it's one of the highlights for me. There was another game dumped recently, a Japanese sort of baseball card game, but it's much more difficult for me to cover that one. I might look at it briefly, although it doesn't really fit the theme I've got going on for tonight. But this one I can just dive straight into and play and enjoy. Need some dynamite. Oh, let myself get cornered. Yeah, the cutscenes. I think it's only the one cutscene, and it always plays the same music, which is the locomotion, and it does it every 4 stages, I think. Unfortunately, I've only got 1 life left. And I do want to show the bonus life animation too, if I can trigger that. We'll be lucky. But yeah, the one strategy is to group enemies if you're good at it, because I think for 4 enemies you get a lot more points than, say, 2 enemies. I think it doubles each enemy. In this case, oh, no. That's not good, got myself trapped. Let's try the stage again. Now, I hope you don't mind me cheating a little bit, but I kind of want to demonstrate things about the game and not be restarting it all the time. So, if I die, I restart. That kind of happens with these demo. Oh, you crushed my dynamite. Nope. But yeah, it would have been nice if Universal had male and female mascots going on at the same time, but after a while they did just stick with Mr. Do. I guess maybe not the best drawn mascot. It looks a little bit Red Riding Hood without the hood. Although on the Japanese flower, I think it looks. Does it look more like Zelda? I can't remember. Link, even, not Zelda. It looks like Zelda in the sense that you're a green character, not Zelda princess, but Link from Zelda. Yeah, they do look very owly, don't they? Oh dear. I really should have got to this level with a few more lives. This isn't even a difficult level. But, yeah, hey Critical Hit. I saw your coverage of this earlier, which is why I put the picture up there. Yeah, I might end up restarting this run and getting here with a few more lives, because it does start to get tricky at this point. You do start to lose lives, and that's not good. But yeah, that's not a good strategy, is it? I think I need to get out of the centre if I'm going to complete this level without losing the life. You crush the dynamite if I can even get it. Right, I've got some dynamite. Safe state. Blow you up. Blow you... No. Ahem. So, where am I going? Right. Yeah, I'm not very good at this. Yes, they're very owly. And they do live in a tree, as you say. I get the feeling maybe they weren't sure what theme they were going for with this game. Now, so this isn't a difficult level. This is just me lacking strategy and not knowing where's safe to stand. Okay. Or maybe I played with the dip switches earlier and there's a difficulty one that I'm not aware of. Not many of the dip switches are mapped, just the lives one, really, and the cocktail mode. I'm failing, I'm doing the same thing that I just did. Repeating the same actions has the same result. Imagine that. That was stupid. Right, we're bombed. I've got no dynamite. Oh dear. That's not the situation you want to find yourself in. Get rid of two of them there. Get rid of that one. And get rid of this one. No, that was stupid. Pesky owls. How did I just die there? Anyway, this is how you don't play Miss Dynamite. Yes, the dynamite hurts you if you know it, if it explodes when you know it. It's not that tricky. Is she married to her work? I think she's married to her work, MAME. But let's see how far we can get. With obviously cheating. But yeah, because there's always a time delay between you setting the dynamite and exploding, much like in Bombman, you do have to plan where you're going to go. Otherwise you'll just get trapped. And it takes you a second to push the barrels, so again, if you're heading towards a barrel, you have to carefully consider that. No, and obviously, like I say, the barrels do crush your dynamite, so again, you can't just fend off enemies who are chasing you with a barrel by throwing dynamite in the path, because it doesn't work. So there's a fair amount of thought put into the game design. It's just a shame, like I say, that the enemies don't visibly jump over the barrels or anything like that. It looks a bit out of place that they just go through them. Now this looks very much like a maze we've already seen, so I don't know if it repeats the mazes quite early on, or if just a lot of them look similar. It wouldn't surprise me if we're starting to see maze repeats already, though, because it, you know, there's not much game here, but what is here is fun. Now, can I get two of you? You can. Now, like I said, I want to get to the extra life animation at least. It's not a good place to be. Yeah, I mean, that might also be why the ROM check fails, because sometimes with these test revisions, they didn't fix the ROM check. But the fact it's off by one kind of suggests to me there might be a bit of bit rot going on, which would be unfortunate. But it could just be an unused area of the ROM too, which might be why there's no obvious issue with how the game runs. Unless that whole not killing the enemies with the barrels is a bit rot issue, but that seems highly unlikely. Right, save state there. Oh, I've skinned. No, I killed myself. This isn't good, is it? There we go. So, same cutscene, really. I think. I've not compared it. I think it's the same cutscene. It's obviously the tree and the owls again, and the same music. Happy World Bee Day. I don't have any bee games lined up, unfortunately. And yeah, sorry, Bob. I started just after 7, which is what I usually aim for. But anyway, I also aim not to, you know, die repeatedly in games, but that never happens. There weren't many female protagonists, but yeah, there were a few. It's always been an area gaming has lacked. You get quite a lot of games that just assume you're a male and will always refer to you as he. I don't remember what the bonus life threshold is even, unfortunately. Which I could really do with it right now as well. Nope, trapped. Trapped. So yes, I mean it is playable without save states, because I did better earlier, but I think because I'm trying to play and talk, it's it's not helping. I think the enemy's movement is quite predictable, so once you also work out their patterns, that easy enough to trap. This one's going too fast though. Once they start going that fast, yeah. I don't think you can escape them at that point, because you have no way to ward off the enemy if it's that close behind you. There we go. So let me just read the chat. Oops. You think this is a later revision than the fly screenshots? The barrels seem more complex than the rocks. The rocks kind of make more sense though, in the sense that barrels would be really fragile and naturally be blown up by the dynamite, and they don't get blown up, so that seems at odds with the design. But yeah, like I said, there were other female protagonists, Super Volteca, as Critical Hit says there. No, Thomas, my aim isn't great. I've just got a bit of a sore throat today for some reason. I don't know why. But otherwise, I'm okay. I think I've been gaming earlier with people, and I think I've just worn my voice out a bit actually. So yeah, it's probably just that. Nothing more sinister. So yeah, I think maybe some of the dip switches are the extra life ones, and I haven't changed them because I'm sure I got an extra life when I was testing earlier without having to get 40,000 points. And it's now very tricky. I'm not sure there's a way. Is there a way around this start of the level that I'm missing? Can't go that way. There's lots of enemies this time too. Look at them. Look how many there are. Well, yeah, if you don't go quite far enough, you end up taking the turn you don't want as well, which is what's happening here to me. Okay, I've escaped the centre section. That's a good start. That's not what I want to do then, though. Need more dynamite. Don't push the dynamite. I'm down there, aren't I? There we go. That's the bonus life animation. So you get a little character running off to where the lives counter is, and you get your extra life. And at that point, I think I've shown everything the game actually has. But I just died again, didn't I? So... I crush my own dynamite. That's not clever. No. There we go. Yeah, lots of games have little bonus life animations. Were you here for the Super Dynamite one? Sorry, I don't know what's on my voice. So yeah, the Super Dynamite animation that I showed earlier. Howdy the Ogre, thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. Let's just share that on an easier level then, because trying to do it on the fast-paced level is not going to work, is it? But I'll just recap this because it's one of the other features that I briefly already demonstrate. But, so you get your timer, and you get your bomb. Which I didn't use. Let's try that again. Evening, Mo, and happy birthday for the other day, because I missed it when you said that on the stream, but I hope you had a good one. But, yeah, I'm getting progressively worse at this game. Which seems to happen a lot. No, I forgot what I'm trying to do. Right, I'm trying to waste my dynamite. Okay. I wasn't trying to complete the level. Maybe I should not try to complete the level more often. Seems to work in my favour. I do wonder if in some versions maybe the barrels did crush the enemies. But there don't seem to be any sprites of crushed enemies. This game runs on same hardware as Ladybug, basically, the Ogre. So, it's the hardware Universal were using around that time. One of the first hardwares emulated in MAME as well. Just not this game, obviously, because this game's only just been dumped. Right, so let me get my bomb. Come on. Right. So I've got the suit. Now they've all gone really fast. But I can use the bomb. Oh, come on. Let's try that again without wasting the super bomb. So good. Well, when I don't try, I win. When I do try, but when I try to fail, I win. When I try to do it well, I fail. I don't know. I'm very inconsistent at games. I'd actually like to complete a level using the super bomb at some point. Yeah, Ladybug is very similar to the original Pac-Man hardware, so the first version of MAME, really. So we've got my Super Dynamite. Now let's just put it there. Oh. Now I have no dynamite. That's bad. So yeah, I think if you waste your Super Dynamite, you can only lose a life. So don't waste your Super Dynamite. That is the lesson we had here. It's basically your last one-shot big bomb that does a bigger four-way spread, but if you waste it, then you've got to lose a life, otherwise you're not finishing the stage. So ideally, you know, get down to like 3 enemies before you do that. And then try and group them, I guess. Sure will do. Move the barrel out of the way because that's going to get my nose otherwise. Get in my way. You'd absolutely play Universal Kart. I'd still like to see the coaster one without Mr. Do turn up too. That'd be a nice one to find, but again, that probably wasn't a release version of the game. Anyway, we are now 35 minutes in. But yeah, this was Mrs. Dynamite. I'll come back to this one maybe an hour or so into the stream, just so that late joiners get to see it. But I think I've shown everything that the game has to offer. Say it's quite a simple game. It's probably one that, if you spent time mastering, you can become quite good at. I like the way you can push the barrels back if they're not too close as well. That's a nice little mechanic. But yeah, for now, I think I've shown enough of that game, and we'll come back to that one in a little bit. My first emulator, probably a Spectrum emulator on the Amiga Bob. So, now, I'm going to go with a game that, not necessarily bomb themed, but visually reminded me of that a little bit, and that is Guzzler by Tehkan. This was a year later, where Tehkan Limited presents Guzzler, 1983 Japan. Please you. But I think the style of the walls on this, they're little logs on this, but they're very low profile walls, and I think in the screenshots for Miss Dynamite, I was always reminded of how this looked, so I thought it might end up being on this hardware, but obviously in the end it was Ladybug hardware. Yeah. I experimented with emulators on the Amiga, but the Spectrum emulators were all really slow bob. But that interest kind of carried over to the PC. I think early versions of UAE and stuff I used pretty early on a PC. Now obviously here you're a water and you're putting out fire and you refill your water. So it's not really a bombing game, but it does have fire and fiery enemies. I need another puddle. This is a very creative, fun game if you've not played it. This is Guzzler by Tehkan. The fires can move. There we go, I put all the fires out. So, what did everybody think of Mrs. Dynamite anyway? Because I really like the look of it. I think that it could have maybe done with a bit more development. Maybe more enemy types. But, yeah, it's a fun game. Even in the state it's in, I played far less enjoyable games, so I don't really understand why it got left behind. Yeah, it was very cute. I think it's one that people will enjoy in the future. I think it's one of those little games that people can get into, play for a little while, not have to invest too much in it. Like the likes of Pac-Man, really. Maybe it was just a little bit late, but this came out in '83, so this was after Mrs. Dynamite was potentially going to come out, and this is still a simple maze game. So I don't think the market was completely dead. Yeah, I think I made it look more difficult than it was a critical hit. I mean, if you ask anybody who's watched my streams a fair bit, I tend to make games look a lot more difficult than they really are. I mean, this one, again, I failed on level 2. I'm more of a developer than a player of these games, which is what, a lot of people are going to see. I want the cocktail. Now I'm full of... Oh dear. Yeah, your range is affected by how full you are of water in this one. And I kind of forgot that. I tried to attack the fire when I was dry. I mean, I didn't even have an accelerator mode, so you can imagine how slow any of that was. I didn't get around to trying MAME on the Amiga. It was slow enough on like a 486 PC, which wasn't even my PC, but I had the unfortunate case of having to use MAME on a 486 back in the day at times, and it didn't run it. It didn't even run Space Invaders at full speed. Some of the games I'm actually quite good at. Not this one, and not Mrs. Dynamite. Dead on round 1. Let's try again. Let's guzzle some more. This one's all about remembering the range of your attacks as well. I think this is one of the more original games I've played in terms of the concept. And empty. You move more quickly when you're empty too, which is a nice touch. There we go. CCS 64. Yeah, Santari. Amiga owners were very proud of the Amiga and made up a lot of things that made it sound a lot better than it really was compared to PCs, even after PCs were obviously actually far superior. It's odd, but that's what happened. You know, I remember everybody saying, oh, you know, Amiga's got a far higher resolution than PC, so Amiga's still better. When they're talking about games that ran in the same resolution but just looked worse on a monitor than they did on a TV. You know, a 320 by 240 game looks more detailed on a CRT than it does on a PC monitor. You know, TV CRT. The actual PC monitors were sharper. But most Amiga owners would take that as saying, oh, the PC's got a worse resolution because they can see the pixels. Yeah, I mean, I was never into the C64, so I didn't play any of those early C64 emulators. But yeah, DOS UAE, I would say, was there. Wasn't there another Amiga emulator around that time too? I seem to remember there was. Fellow, I think it might be called. Was Fellow an Amiga emulator around the late 90s? I ran into the fire. Yeah, some of the emulators are still going on. I mean, some of them aren't always necessarily the best choice these days, but some of them are still going on because the people that made them just have that enthusiasm for them. I don't know how CPCMU compares these days. It probably does a better job of the CPC than MAME does, to be fair, but that's just how these things go. Yeah, Fellow. I thought it was. I think I used that one. I think that was a bit faster than UAE back in the day. Or was it more compatible? It was one or the other, so there were reasons to use Fellow as well. You can't find the Mrs. Dynamite ROM. Where can you find it? I'm sure it'd be available fairly soon, Marcelo. I mean, I don't control the ROM distribution, but it's been added to MAME now. The check-in's been accepted, so anywhere carrying sort of next version sooner ROMs will probably have it. Frodo was the C64. What was Frodo on the C64? Was that Frodo a C64 emulator? Anyway, this was Guzzler. Not much point in spending too long on this. This is a game I'll probably play on another stream, but it is a good game actually. If you've not played Guzzler, yeah, I would recommend playing Guzzler. Now, for the non-Dynamite related one, I'm only going to look at this briefly because I don't know how to play this. This is one of the other recent additions. This is another very rare game. This is Dokaben 2, a Capcom game. Now, this seems to be practically the same game as Dokaben 1, but with different images, different cutscenes, different text. Showtime and Team Japum dumped it about a week or so ago. But I can't really do a full stream on this because I don't know how to play it, or if there is any real gameplay to it at all. I mean, I can insert a coin. I can choose things. Very loud. But then you just select a card. It just feels like I'm randomly selecting a card. So, is there any actual gameplay here? I'm not sure. I appear to be losing every time. Yeah, it's based on an anime, I was told that, but the gameplay here seems non-existent. I don't get that. You're just choosing a random card. Was this a payout medal game, or are you just meant to be enjoying the animations and not care about the gameplay? Yeah, it feels like a gambling game. I think I won that time. But yeah, I can't really cover this because A, all I'm doing is picking random cards, and B, I can't tell you what any of the text says. As you can see, it's just like the first game. It was released a few months after the first game. Or maybe it even wasn't, because it's some circles considered a prototype. But it's just the same thing with different graphics. Also, it feels like a gambling game because pretty much every time I'm losing. I know, you know, this isn't normal odds for a random number generator. This is, you get a number and 90% of the time you lose. Anyway, so I'm not going to really spend much time playing this one. Even then, you see, I get a 7, they get lucky. This time, apparently I managed to do something. But yeah, of the two games that have rare games that have been added in the added for the next release, I definitely think Mrs. Dynamite is the more interesting one to play. This is at least not my type of game. Maybe fans of the anime would actually really appreciate this, but I don't see the appeal of just selecting a random card. I mean, there's no advantage to me selecting a card other than just me continually tapping, you know, the button. I won that one. I'm very confused. Most of the time I'm getting a lower card though. I'm getting a 4, they're getting a 6. So I'm picking on the left. Precursor to Hearthstone and other card games. Yeah, card games are quite popular these days, and I still don't understand the appeal of them that much. But yeah, I do know a lot of people that play them, but there seems to be more strategy in those. You're selecting which cards to play in which situations. This I'm just picking a card and it's telling me what it is, and giving me animations. So yeah, I'm not going to continue playing that one because yeah, I have 5 seconds to pick a card, but it doesn't really matter which card I pick. It's just random. The entire game is random. So, since this is a Dynamite stream, why don't I try a bit of the hot sauce? Look, we have some thunder juice here. This seems like an appropriate thing to be trying for a stream, doesn't it? About Dynamite. So let's put some on a spoon here. Look, a nice spoon of hot sauce. There we go. Not the hottest hot sauce I have, but still a nice little bit of a hot sauce burn there before we choose the next game. And it's actually quite hot. Those weren't my plans. Right, actually I need a drink now. Not too hot. I had the milk at the ready. Now, if I wanted too hot, I would have gone with this one. Eating streams? No, that's a bad idea. Maybe it was a bad idea, Bob. So, yeah, this is a Sokonuke Taisen game by Sammy. Yeah, my nose is running now. This game is quite explosive. I could play Maru-chan again and Eat Rain on the stream. Maybe, if they sponsor me. So, this is a mini-game type thing with different events. And if you lose, things blow up. So, you know, I can't read Japanese, unfortunately, so I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I think you have to jump on this, and jump on this, and then jump on this, and then go to the switch, turn the wheel back there, and probably jump on that a bit more. I'm not sure. Probably, turn the switch. This is a very cute mini game thing that is quite tricky to play. But I think I did okay. But it's very cute, isn't it? Nope, nope. Move back, move back. So you're juggling different elements. You've got to keep that, you know, you've got to keep that from the saw blade from getting to that one. You've got to keep the bomb up there. Or that happens and the bomb blows you up. The second Eurovision semi-final on. So it's my stream versus Eurovision again, isn't it? So one each. No, go that way. Oh, that way. So yeah, you're trying to stop the balloon from popping, I think. You're trying to squeeze the air out of it. Because if it pops... Did I win? Or did I lose? I won. You've heard this is made by bankrupt UPL staff members. In that case, it would follow on quite well from Mrs. Dynamite, Mofuski. But, yeah, I mean, it's listed as Sammy, but obviously Sammy could just be the publisher. What am I doing? So I'm going to flip that switch. I'm going to lift you up so you're not near the fire, because you've got a bomb. I'm going to push this along here, I guess. But this seems quite an obscure game. I don't expect many people to have played this one. Oh, left you too near the fire. No, don't do that, don't do that. I think I lost. No, I won. So, yeah, this is definitely one of the very strange Japanese games. I put this up there with that Jin-kun one from Tecmo in terms of really odd concepts for mini games, and Sasasu from Sega, which is kind of part of the puzzle and action series. No, 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 wrong way, wrong way. I definitely must have lost that one. I can't have won that one. Yeah, I lost that one. Yeah, it could be a good friendship destroyer. It's definitely one to play with two players, because you're competing with each other. It reminds me of the mini games in Rayman Legends, but it also reminds me of Game & Watch in the sense that you're multitasking with different elements all the time. There we go. Eggs cracked over there, and whatever happened just happened. I think I'd die, Thomas, if I did one shot of hot sauce at every life I lost. I just wanted that to be a one-off thing because we were doing a Dynamite stream. I'm definitely not touching the other hot sauces I've got here because they are stronger than that one. So what am I doing this time? Okay. So I'm pushing this, and I'm not allowing the characters to cook. That's and if I'm popping these balloons, no, I don't know. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm trying to get that over there. I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get there. I don't want rabbit stew. There we go. Yeah, Sammy versus Capcom was definitely talked about a lot and then never happened, did it? Hey, get away from my balloons. Get away from them. So, yeah. I lost. And the flag point goes to the opposition. So that, I get that's a beehive, really, isn't it? No, don't boil the rabbit. Don't boil the rabbit. Aha. Easy when you know how. Yeah, I've noticed that on this one. I think it's probably meant to be mono R09 and it's set to stereo when it shouldn't be. That happens in quite a lot of games, but yes, this does only appear to have audio at the right-hand side, which I doubt is correct. Most Jammer games are mono because the Jammer standard was mono, so it should probably just be set to mono. That's likely the solution to this one. Also, thank you for the tip on the Group X controls earlier. I will be playing that one on the next racing stream. What am I doing this one? Oh, if you're drowning, yeah, okay. Stop them drowning while also, yeah. Yes, obviously we've got a nice big bomb there again. Apparently it's kind of easy just to do that though and ignore everything else on this stage. Break time. I mean, it's not the most explosive game, but it's definitely got explosions in it. It's got nuke in the title, so it has to be included. I'm not very good at this. Where did I find this game's part of the general main ROM set, Yongi 3D. What am I doing this stage? Oh, knocking these down, okay. Well, stopping you drowning. Okay. Yeah, I've got to keep the inner tube inflated. Well, also, okay. And then the bomb at the end, yeah, okay, I get it, trying to get it. I hit the bomb that way, so I guess that's an instant win. Yeah, I think it would be a popular party game. I mean, it's a little bit easy, maybe, so far. I mean, I've completed most of the stages without too much challenge. Like I say, it reminds me of those bonus stages in Rayman, Jake. You know, the mini football games and the like. Probably playing against a real human would add an extra element of challenge too. Playing against a computer here might not be the best way to play this game, but I think most people here won't have played this game at all. This is kind of bishy-bashy influence with the blocks down the middle there. You see that in so many of the bishy-bashy games. This one, interesting, it doesn't seem to matter how many blocks you destroy as long as you get the last one that's got the bomb on it. Bump the inner chute, don't drown, don't drown, don't drown, don't drown. Nope, 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 nope. Oh dear, I lost. Okay, I lost. Oh well, I got to maybe the last round, unless there were further rounds after this. But yeah, so this was Sokonuke Taisen, where bunny-like creatures get circular chainsaws after them and explode into... yeah, I don't know. Very strange game. Very strange game. Yeah, I think it's a rare game, I've said. I don't really see anybody talking about it, and I think with 2 players that one would be an awful lot of fun. Right. Where next? Where next? Where next? Shall we go with another prototype that I think I've featured before, but can play again. This is, I think I need to set the orientation. Yeah, I need to change the orientation. This one is Kaneko's Pack-N Bang Bang. Now this one's definitely a prototype because the game's got a few serious bugs in. Like if you use the continue feature, it crashes. Or it glitches out and then crashes. Hey fellow Jasper, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome, thank you for joining. But anyway. So this is a game with characters that look a little bit like minions. And is an unreleased Kaneko game on the same hardware as the Berlin Wall, which is only really noteworthy for the odd background format it can use. But one player, easy. So you get the bombs, you throw them back. It kind of looks like Bonk with the the faces above your head. So I'm wondering if Kaneko kind of took ideas from when they did the Bonk version on their own hardware and just tried to make this game using the same concept. But if that bombs arrive on your platform, you have to toss them back quickly and destroy the opposition platform, and you run out of space. And there we go, I lost. Hey Delta Way Studios, thank you for joining. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, it feels very like a competitive versus Bonk game that never happened. Again, it's one of those where it's probably better with 2 players, where you're actually competing against each other. If you can grab the bombs while they're in the air so they don't have a chance to blow up on you and blow away your platforms, that's always good. Handicap this time because I won last time. That's always fair, isn't it? Just give me a handicap because I did well. Don't say hooray when I'm losing. I've got no platforms left. Now, see, I lost. Now, what I don't want to do is continue, because eventually the game will now crash. Because it's kind of put me forward a level without putting me forward a level, and yeah, it just makes a mess of the game. At least eventually. Maybe it's not fatal on this level, but sometimes it just put you against a completely invalid character and then reset the game. Now there is a bit more strategy in where you try and land the bombs, which I'm not really demonstrating at the moment, and I fell off the platform anyway. I'm good, thank you, Delta Bay Studio. So I've just been enjoying the discovery of the Mrs. Dynamite prototype, which I was looking at earlier. And things like that, are highlights of any year in MAME, really. So when I update my website with, the current year highlights, that's definitely one I'll be putting up there. It's just finding something that we probably thought was lost forever that's turned up. See, but this one is Pack-N Bang Bang from Kaneko. Another prototype. This was added probably 5 years ago now, I want to say, but I could be wrong. I've won this one now. There we go. Potentially a priority glitch there. Maybe the continue didn't break it because it was still on an early round, but quite often the continue would just break the game entirely. Unfortunately, you can't even turn the continue off. The main character reminds you of Chak and Pop. It always just reminds me of a minion, but they clearly came later. But it could be a minion like Dave. Not saying I'm a minion, but now you can control the height and distance your bombs go by using it up and down and all sorts of other control mechanics that I'm not demonstrating well here. But that's kind of important because you've got to put them in the right place. Right now, if I get in the right place, yeah, there we go. Super Moo Rio Cows. What's a lot of that? So I can't remember if I played this one before, but it's always worth having a look. But it is a game you will quickly get bored of because it feels a bit too random and it is broken, like I said, because it's an incomplete prototype. Oh yeah, if you just jump off and kill yourself, that's not clever, is it? Cyborg Pac-Man. Also, the backgrounds show at first and then fade out, which is really odd, but that's not an emulation bug. That again is how it is. Probably they were experimenting if they wanted the background shown during gameplay or not when they were testing the game and developing it, and this was a test build where they decided they didn't want the background shown. I really don't know. You never really do know with these test games. It had potential, but I think it is a little too limited in what they could have done with the idea. You know, I can't think. I can think of maybe minor improvements they could have made, mix it up a little bit, but it's always going to be a bit of a chaotic game where you're never sure if you're in control. But it's explosive, so it fits the theme I was going for with the stream. So yeah, there you go. That was a bit of Pack and Bang Bang. Now, I seem to remember. This is one of those that's got the cute Kaneko cat logo, which you can see there. There's been Korean regions. Kaneko used that logo with the cat because Nico is cat, at least in Japanese, and so they wanted to do that. I actually really like that logo. I think that's better than the regular logo, but yeah, it only gets used in Korea. I might play original PC Engine games, Victor. I don't really know why I'd want to play the TourVision ones. They're just the PC Engine games when I can run the PC Engine originals without the issues of timers and everything else. They're a bit pointless. Right. Let's go with one that's not properly emulated yet. A system that I've been trying to have another look at recently, although still got entirely stuck, and that is Boom Zoo on the Super Tehkan. Now this is I think it's a Taiwanese console, which was sort of Mega Drive SNES level, released in about *95. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that don't make sense with the system, and not least I've been trying to fix the sprites on the Speed intro, and they don't make sense. I'm starting to think it's a bad dump or something like that, because the sprite sizes it uploads are completely wrong for some of the sprites it's trying to draw, and they seem to be coming direct from ROM, so it makes no sense. Is there one game that's extremely rare and not dumped that I'd like to see, Cal? I mean, there's an IREM circus-like thing that I can't remember the name of. It's on the unMAME site. It looks a bit like XD Circus, but in colour with lots going on. It looks really good, but yeah, I don't know what it was called. I'd have to make it unMAMEd to have a look at it, but I'd kind of like to see that one. But anyway, this is obviously a Taiwanese Bombman clone. There's no sound emulation, unfortunately. That's one of the things that makes very little sense. And it's possible there's an internal BIOS ROM mapped in the 68K space that is related to the sound and gets transferred to the sound release for instruments. I'm not sure, but somebody did a bit of research on the system a few years back and seemed to think there was a ROM in a part of the 68K space that wasn't necessarily used by the 68K directly, but might be DMA'd somewhere else. But yeah, it's a fairly simple Bombman game, and it's one of the Tehkan games that is somewhat playable. Obviously without sound it's not too entertaining, but it doesn't seem to have any sprite size issues like I've seen with Speedy D, which again really makes me think Speedy D could be a bad dump. But I don't know, I can't prove it. Unfortunately, I'm blowing myself up. I'm not very good at Bomberman. I've never been very good at Bomberman. Game over. Oh, there you go. That was a very quick game. But let's have another go. But yeah, if you Tehkan's, why is it not booting anymore? Tehkan's are now very rare. I think you can only play it once. I really don't know. Let's try again. Let's just load it again. There seems to be an issue with playing a second game in it. Like I said, this is considered a non-working system, so that's not too surprising. Let's pick the pig. Now they do look more like exploding footballs and bombs, but that's just a sprite design issue. There we go, that's you out the way. Come on, jump closer, that's better. Yeah, you want to do that. I can drop multiple bombs, you see. Doesn't help me when I do that though. Come on, get in the way of my bombs. You know you want to. I think the chicken laid an egg, or the duck laid an egg, which means you can't place something there. Yeah, I think that's the one, cow. That sounds about right. I know it's only got a Japanese title listed, which is why I couldn't remember the title. But I don't know if we'll ever see that one. Apparently none of the Japanese collectors are aware of any copies existing, and that's usually a bad sign, especially for a game that was likely only released in Japan. Or tested in Japan even. You take 2 hits on like the first level, that's not very fair. Now it's one of those where I have to find the exit as well, isn't it? Oh, and I blow myself up. Yeah, this is a Boom Zoom on the Tehkan. It's one of the few Tehkan games that is basically playable but without sound. And it's just a Bombman clone. Because Bombman was rather popular at the time. I never like this search for the exit part of these games either. It's one of the things I find incredibly dull about Bomberman. It's like, yeah, now I just have to blur everything up finding the exit. At least I think that's what I'm doing. Unfortunately, Stardew Valley kind of adopted this mechanic in the mind, didn't it? Okay, am I doing something? Maybe I'm not looking for the exit. I really don't know. Oh, there, the key. Yeah, MAME's in the emulator, and there's no proper documentation on it. And I mean, the software's not actually badly written. The code's quite clear, which is again why the Speedy D issue is so confusing. But it's an odd piece of hardware with lots of layers, rotation effects, and zooming, and yeah, it was quite a capable little piece of hardware, really. But without any really must-play games. Okay, I've got the key this time, that's good. But as you can see from this, it was capable of nice, colourful games. It's a good-looking Bomberman clone, at least. But it just plays like Bomberman. You know, it's not trying to do anything special. So if you played Bombman, you really know what to expect from it. So I'm not going to spend too long on it, but you know, it's another bomber game, and I will be looking at some other Bomberman versions shortly. You've got your power-ups, you've got what you'd expect to find in a Bombman game, really, haven't you? There we go. Yeah, the obviously a far worse even later than this. Evening GP, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining the stream. But yeah, Boom Zoo. I do want to do some work on the Tehkan drive and improve a few things, but it's not an easy one to work with. And like I say, I do question some of the dumps, but it's so expensive these days as well, you can't really get them verified. And I do think maybe there's an internal BIOS area. But anyway, right. Let's go with something altogether more modern. I say that. Not that much more modern these days. Let's go for the PlayStation driver. And a game called Silent Bomber. Now this is one of those that's often considered a bit of an underrated gem on the PlayStation. This will be left on YouTube afterwards, Yomi. So if you miss anything, you can catch up later. But yeah, the new game, Matt, is Mrs. Dynamite, which I featured at the start of the stream. I'll probably feature it again in about 20 minutes on that 1.5 hour mark. Bomberman is not a pig, but we will see some pigs and bombers in a bit. Bob. Anyway, this I've got the Xbox pad out for this one. Oh yes, CyberConnect made this Super Evolved Tekka. New game. I go to tutorial.
Back then, the battlefield was all I knew of the world. And the voice that issued orders to me, was the only thing I could believe in.
Pyuuta, come in.
This is Utah.
Well, the pigs we've seen before, but on a different platform,
well.
Bob.
This will be your first taste of real battle. Fulfill this mission and prove to me that your training has paid off.
I'll give it everything I got.
So what we got here? There we go. Enable the analog stick.
First, remove any obstacles that stand in the way of the squads coming up behind you. Then, plant a bomb on the marked area.
So you drop your bomb.
All right, now stay clear of the blast radius.
And then you blow up.
Good work.
Nice big explosion. That's what we want on these streams.
Now this time you'll use a stack to blow it up.
Stack?
A technique employing multiple explosives to increase the blast. When you set it, hit the button twice. Then put some distance between you and the bombs. There. That'll do it.
So this is just telling me how to play the
Careful,
game.
Utah. There's an enemy unit approaching from up ahead.
That's why I put the tutorial on.
Engage them with the add-on equipment we airdropped. Destroy the container and retrieve the lock-on unit.
This is like a sort of modern bomber type game. Oh yeah, so blow it up. With a bit more gameplay to it.
Enemy at close range.
Okay, listen. I'll explain how to use the lock-on unit. First, hold down the set button and call up your sight. Fix the enemy on your sight and lock on. You've just planted a bomb on the enemy. Hit the detonator button. Well done.
Okay.
What you have there is a highly volatile liquid. Using this in conjunction with your bombs will result in more powerful and deadly explosions.
But yeah, this is quite famous for the PAL version being broken. You can't complete the game properly because one of the later levels just crashes.
Push the button and try using it. That's enough. When you've obtained various types of liquid, you can switch among them with the Item Select button. Just don't forget that these are exhaustible items. Eliminate this final obstacle on your own.
Don't blow yourself up there. Okay.
All right, go on ahead. We've detected another
Yeah, the
enemy group. It's a large one
USA
this time.
driver. Ooh,
If
sorry.
you quickly push the jump button twice, it will activate
The
your burst drive.
PSE, PSJ,
Put
and
it to good
PSU are
use
the
and make your way through their attack.
Understood.
and don't die. So get the power. So yeah, if anybody's not played Silent Bomb on the PlayStation before, it is one of those games that gets recommended a lot these days, but maybe you weren't aware of it back in the day. Definitely don't play the PAL version though, because as I said, that one has a bug. Play the USA or Japanese versions because those are playable to the end. Otherwise, you will find the game freezing in places. There's a tank. It's a sort of an arena shooter. It kind of reminds you of the likes of Robotron 2 and Smash TV, but with bombs and 3D. I don't really know what to say about it, really. That's why I'm being quite quiet and just playing it, because it also requires concentration. You'll find when I play 3D games, I tend to go a lot more quiet because I'm trying to concentrate more on the game, because I don't know, I think it's a sensory overload type thing. PAL is broken, yes, Thomas, unfortunately. I think about level 11 it crashes. It's quite easy to find on
It's an enemy stronghold.
Google if you
Burn
search
down
it.
the entire
I think some people have said if you
installation.
skip a cutscene at a specific point it works, but if you don't, then it will freeze on you. I've not played Bombman Act Zero Volteca. By the sounds of it, I probably shouldn't. But, yeah, this is...
Those are
Quite a cool game. Could do with a new version, I think.
But I thought there were soldiers in here. These people are civilians.
Calm down, Utah. Burn everything to the ground.
Burn everything to the ground.
But
Yes,
but-
I will burn everything to the ground.
That's an order.
Well, the sound emulation
Understood,
actually
sir.
works on the PlayStation Erratic. I mean, maybe I could break it and then it would be nice and silent, but that wouldn't be much fun, would it? But, yeah, T-Dog, silent explosions is sci-fi, space explosions. But this isn't in space. How are you doing anyway? Thank you for joining. Just seeing your message there. I don't know if the bad line on the right hand side is just how the game is, because that'd probably be overscan error on the TV. But MAME's PlayStation driver does have a few centering issues, so it could also be that.
Every day I awaken from sleep.
Anyway, let's skip the cutscenes, because cutscenes aren't what you're here to see, I'm sure.
Assault teams, launch capsules.
So now we get into the actual game proper, and it's a bit more action-packed than
I've lost attitude control.
the
I'll try for
tutorial.
a landing.
Visually, for a PlayStation 1 game, I think this is impressive too. There's a lot going on. Doesn't have too much in the way of slowdowns.
Utah,
The
coming
distortion
Utah.
of the the graphics is never
I'm
too bad.
reporting no damage to E-Unit. Now commencing the operation.
Right. Okay. Destroy all anti-aircraft barriers. Okay.
There's an E.
We can do that. And get some E-chips. Otherwise, Blow up the spawn thing. A bit like Gauntlet, the enemies spawn out those
The
things.
beam gate has generators on either side.
Yes, it does.
Destroy them. There are targets nearby. The target ought to be designated with a marker.
The 3rd platoon's lander is heavily damaged.
Is that blown up?
Talk about bad luck.
Machino, quit complaining.
The 6th
How about
platoon
those?
is gone! How can this be happening? Tim, stop your whining. But we won't last that long at this rate! Done!
Get some more of this. Is that one down? Yeah, it's a very modern type of Bombman, isn't it, Cal? I don't want to spend too long on this though, because I think I could end up spending like a good half an hour on this without realising. I'm not saying much in the chat, and that's not really how I want these streams to go. I don't want to be sat here in silence while I play the games. But it does need to happen when I play games like this, which is why sometimes I avoid them. But, let's blow those up, see the power-ups. Yep. Got paralysis liquid, so that might come in handy. Though not. So, okay, that was a nice big explosion. Probably not meant to blow the bombs up when I'm stood next to them, to be fair. I should have probably learnt that from playing Bomberman earlier. But, Boom Zoo and Mrs. Dynamite earlier, in fact. But, so out there, you can't control the camera as far as I know, so it's just fixed view. But again, it's a view that works, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just feels a bit odd when you used to be able to rotate cameras with the the other analog stick, and you can't. Let's get some targets out of the way. My health is running a little low. Get out of the way. I should probably look for health pickups.
Looks like all the anti-aircraft weaponry in this area is out of commission.
So am I.
The area designated with a marker is the next place you should go. Follow the marker and proceed ahead.
Oh, I don't have to blow it up, it just opens. Yeah, the PlayStation driver works really well, Wolfaz, for the things it does run. It'll either work really well or it'll fail. But for most standard PlayStation games, the PlayStation driver is fine, as long as it boots them in the first place. The Motor Tune game I looked at on the stream the other day is one of the few exceptions, because that's one of the ones that just boots but then is really glitchy. But this, if you want a good fun 3D game to play in MAME and are happy to use the PlayStation driver, this isn't a bad choice at all. It's a shame this didn't have an arcade release at some point, but of some sort. But I guess it would have been a bit too slow paced, because I've been playing this for a while already, and arcade games are some more get on, kick it off, whereas this is more gentle. Lock on, hit. Lock on, hit. Shield now. You can only place 2 bombs at once, though, as I forgot, and I think I died.
Is this really the end?
Yes, this is really the end. No, I don't wish to continue. Because, I was just showing that game off. Right. Back to where we started. For those joining late, I'm not going to play it for as long this time. But this is Mrs. Dynamite from Universal, a 1982 game that has recently been dumped and emulated. I don't know what these dip switches do. I'm going to change them. They probably do nothing. No more hot sauce, Thomas. That was a one-off. Maybe it's time for vodka. I think it's time for vodka. Vodka makes more sense than hot sauce. Although, that's even worse if I die often. Hey, Aussie Guy, thank you for joining. And this is the second time I'll be looking at Mrs. Dynamite tonight, so if you only just joined and missed it the first time, you're in for a little bit of a show here, mainly a show of me dying many times, but welcome, and I hope you're doing well. Anyway, coin up. So, run around, pick up the dynamite, blow things up, get them to follow you, pick up more dynamite, don't get crushed by barrels, push the barrels back, there we go. I said don't get crushed by barrels and I got crushed by a barrel. Yes, this stream will end up very off the rails in that case, Thomas. Also, I'll run out of vodka very quickly. So yeah, I'm clearing the level. Can only have one dynamite on screen at once. And when you run out of dynamite, it does beep at you so you know you've got to get more, which is a nice touch, to be fair. Because it would be really annoying if you had no dynamite and it wasn't alerting you to that fact in some way. Ooh. Blew myself up. I'm getting good at that. So. Yes, I also run out of liver and lives. Maybe that's why it's called liver. Oh yeah, the barrel's crushy dynamite. So yeah, the beep means I have no dynamite left. Which, believe me, is not a good thing. Nor is getting trapped between two enemies. So that went well. I've clearly learnt a lot since last time I played this game. Of course, this time I'm not using save states, so we're not going to get very far. If you want to see more of the game with lots of save states so that I actually get to see all the features, then watch the earlier play of this. But I just wanted to put it back on the stream because I know not everybody's going to have been here at the start of the stream, so a lot of people have missed it entirely. And the focus of the stream is this newly emulated Mrs. Dynamite game. A long-lost 82 Universal game, which probably wasn't released, so this is probably a prototype. However, there's no strong evidence. I mean, aside from the chief of CEO of Universal USA saying he'd never heard of it, there's no strong evidence that says it was released. But also, it doesn't scream prototype in the way some other games do in terms of the PCB. But then again, it's a it's a ladybug PCB, so it's a PCB that was already used by another game. Yeah, Warp is one I want to have a look at in a bit, Aussie guy. That's definitely an interesting sort of bomber-style game that maybe doesn't get recognised in the way it should, even though I'm pretty terrible at it too. But this, obviously, if it never came out, it can't be officially considered part of that. Right. Okay, I'm breaking out save states again, because obviously, otherwise, we're not going to see a cutscene again, and we're not going to get to do the locomotion once more. Let's waste the dynamite. Now this is why I don't want to kill this guy, because I want to waste the dynamite. I want to try and get him... Oh, he escaped? I didn't know they did that. He just escaped Dig Dug style. That's different. I don't think that happened the first time I played it. But the enemy ran off Dig Dug style. Ran to the top corner and left the maze. Curious. Oh, I got 3 at once. Oh, I think it must be 3 at once that gives you an extra life then. I thought it was a bonus life score, but the bonus life seems to be for getting 3 at once. That's curious. That is curious indeed, because most of the time bonus lives are when you get a certain score, but I got 3 enemies at once and got bonus life for it. So there you go. I don't think the flyer tells you that. I think it just has bonus life point numbers. So that's different. That means you can potentially get a lot of bonus lives if you know how to group the enemies. without, you know, dying. So I played the game again and discovered something I hadn't realised before. And got crushed by a barrel. Safe state anyway though. Come to think of it, when I got the bonus life last time, it was when I killed 3 enemies. So it's not point based at all, from what I can tell. This 3 enemies at once equals extra life. Yeah, Mr. Do's got an unusual extra life thing, hasn't it, with the diamond, and I think there's various glitches associated with it where you can get infinite lives. Okay, this is where my lives start to drain, so let's not let them drain that quickly. I do want to get to the cutscene at least. Yeah, Universal, I think, are a really good company actually. Even UPL afterwards. There's some really creative ideas, some great little games. They're sort of Namco light in some senses. Namco had a lot of great ideas, but before Namco had all their great ideas, Universal were coming out with many of them too. So it's the same cutscene every time, and I don't know what Do the Locomotion has to do with the game or anything else, but there you go. So yeah, when I die here, which I died, I'll move back onto another game because this was just sort of a second showing of this for people who missed it at the start. But Universal is still alive making pachinko games. I didn't realise that, but that's kind of an obscure little corner of the market. A big corner of the market, but still not one that I've really paid much attention to. Just end. Right. Now, let's have a look at Plug and Play. The PDC 100 from Conny, or Coney, which contains 100 games. And it's probably one of my favourite of the little plug and play things we emulated. It contains a game called Billy Boom, where you are impregnable. You drop bombs and things blow up. It's a little bit slow, but you know, a lot of these PDC games are. Can't remember what I'm doing on it, unfortunately. So I know I'm blowing things up, but I can't. I think I blow up the shells. Then is that? I blow up the shells and I get the diamonds. That was it. Yeah, congratulations, you got a diamond. So this is kind of similar. You're planting bombs and they blow up, although you can plant multiple bombs. That was definitely what inspired Kylie Minogue, yes, Thomas. I'm sure she played that game and thought, I want to cover that song. And then probably sued Universal, and that's why the game no longer exists. To be fair, the music rights could have something to do with it. Maybe it was put out on test, and somebody went, "Oh, you can't use that song," and they just gave up. Stranger things have happened. Excellent. Next level. So yeah, occasionally you find a game on these plug and plays that's maybe not the most challenging, but still kind of interesting in its own right, and I think this is one of them. Got those little gauntlet-y style spawn points too. But you do find that with quite a few of the games on these PDC units. They're a little more ambitious than a lot of the plug and play games you find. And for a kid who just had a handheld for a car journey or something like that, I'd say these were pretty good little systems. Oh, it was Arzu's. Well, it was Universal, was it? I did not realise that. Yeah, there were some Arzu's gambling style games in MAME, aren't there? Some of the Alex 64 stuff, I think. But why would they change away from Universal? Universal was a UPL was a much more well recognised name. I'm not sure why you want to throw away that legacy, unless there's like other reasons. So yeah, I've not played this extensively, but I played it enough to get the idea of it and understand that there's a decent underlying game on this one. Could have done with a bit more challenge. It's very easy, like many of these plug-and-play games. But again, I think they were for kids, really, weren't they? And I am not a kid. I can leave lots of bombs and blow them up. So I should probably leave more bombs because, you know, the theme of the stream is, you know, explosives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's the other shell? Okay, I can't find what I'm meant to be blowing up. Oh, it's down there. That's where it's hiding. Down. How do I get down there? I feel I'm missing something here. Well, there must be a way down here. Can I blow up the wall? I can blow up the wall, that's it. I couldn't remember what I could blow up. I don't think I meant to pick that up. Oh. I don't know what book she is, but yeah, blow up the spike barrier. I forgot what I was meant to be blowing up, what I couldn't blow up. I don't think this really ramps up the challenge at any point, unfortunately, so it's just a case of playing through the levels until you complete it. And there aren't that many levels. But, you know, there are definitely worse things to play, worse looking things to play. I'm not going to spend too long on it, you sort of get the idea. But I do like to show these, you know, these plug and plays now and again, especially like random games and some of the multi-game units that are very easy to overlook. And I would say this falls under that. I meant to be blowing those up this time. Speed up. I want to be blowing this up? I don't remember. Maybe not. Anyway, I don't know. You get the idea. The Pocket Dream console and Billy Bomb, which, yeah, I think it's a decent enough one to have a look at. If you want a simple game, maybe give your kids something to play if you've got kids who want to play that type of thing. Right. Now this one, next one, yeah, this might crop up again in a couple of days because it's a racing game. And, you know, I'm probably going to do another racing stream at some point. But this is Chase Bombers from Taito. I can't be a kid with this beard. If I shave it off, I do look like a kid, though. Earth Civilization Simulator. I believe that was just called Civilization, the yoga. And it's quite famous. How can you lose a PS Vita? I think what you mean is broke and then lost. GP. So this one had some recent emulation fixes from Cam 900 a couple of months ago to fix various graphics in the intro because the priorities were wrong here before. So you can see more of what you're meant to be seeing. It's still one of those Taito games that's got a really ugly washed out palette and not one of their best, but I figured it was worth showing because it's got bombs. And it's called Chase Bombers. And it's basically a kart racer. Kart races are kind of uncommon in the arcade too. It's also probably very quiet. Hold on. Oop. How do I move the never-ending challenge of looking at how you actually... There we go. Up you go. Up you go. Yes, I'm sure. Now it should have some volume to it. Yes, I'm sure. Hey Jez, thank you for joining. Hope you're doing well. And hey GP, of course, thank you for joining. Hope you're doing well too. Yeah, I might also feature this in the driving game stream main. Because it fits in both, doesn't it? Selected pedal. Actually, what's the default? This sounds like the Thomas the Tank Engine music. There we go.
Now select your course.
I'll select Twilight City. Well, technically, Cal, I'm going to have to cover the final lap games again, or at least one of them, because Kale just put in a bug fix. Well, he's done a bug fix for the engine sound on them. So you know how much I really enjoyed playing Final Lap. Well, yeah, I'm going to have to do that all over again. Yeah, this is like Mario Karty, but worse. Also, I don't know if I could actually select automatic transition on this car, so I might be stuck in a slow mode and not know what to do. So I should probably look at the inputs really, shouldn't I? Gear shift is shift. Oh no, that is just, okay, so it is just that. It is just the two gears, the high and low. There's no more complex gear shifting. So I'm 8th out of 5. Well, that's impressive by my standard. 8th out of 5. This is Bridget level of quality. 8 out of 5. Where are the other cars? This is a very lonely drive now. Also, do you drive with your arm in the air like this? Because apparently you do. No, it's not easy to drive like that. Bit like Boogie Boy with more explosions. Boogie Boy is a far better game, Ravos. A far better game. This is not a well-known Taito game. This is one of the Taito games that's got advertising banners in the Hat-Trick Hero games. So the F3 system versions have got advertising banners for this. So Taito probably thought it was going to go somewhere or do really well, but it really, I don't think it ever did. Are the graphics missing now? I think the graphics are meant to be pretty good now since Cam fixed them, but who knows? Wait a little while. Yeah, it's one of those that had multiple cabinets linked, so you can play against another player. It's not got split screen because arcades didn't really do split screen. Have a banana. I've got a bowling ball now. But yeah, it's a car racer. But it's not Mario Kart. It just came from that era where I don't think Taito were really on the top of their game with their 3D races. You got Super Chase that came around the same time, and again, that feels like a big downgrade from the other Chase HQ type games. But who knows? And Super Ground Effects, that was really bad as a racing game. which I'll probably look at on the racing stream. They did Operation Wolf 3 around the same time as well, which is also really bad. So I don't really know what happened to Taito around this period. They just put out a lot of games that were not good. This is probably a bit better than some of those. But so take it or leave it game. I crashed into my own obstacle. I'm not really seeing much strategy either. Bash things? Bash more things? Third lap. Bash you a bit more. Get the missile, use the missile, blow things up. See, this is my top speed. I can't actually gain any ground on anything. So I guess 3 out of 3 is actually, yeah, it's probably if you're going to get eliminated. That's probably what it is. It's one of these elimination things where if you're too far behind, you will be eliminated. So I'm okay at the moment because I'm 3rd of 3, but if I go behind to this car, I'll be eliminated. So, 3rd. You don't even throw the bananas behind you, you throw them in front, so I don't know what that's all about. That was brake. I didn't want to press brake. And then you get the catch-up logic, so I'm back to pretty much where I was. I'll read your comment in a minute, fella Jasper. I see it's quite a long one. I'm trying to stay in 3rd place. So I actually managed to complete that one, right. Final lap's really meant to be a link cab, fellow Jasper. It even shows in the track mode all the time you can play up to 1 player simultaneously, which makes no sense whatsoever. A lot of Namco games do that if they're not linked. But yeah, Model 3. So quite a few Sega ones were meant to be linked too, although a lot of the Sega ones do also operate just okay with a single player. I think F1 Super Lap's probably meant to be always linked too. F1 Exhaust Note only boots if it's linked because it requires the board to boot it all. Kale is good for your bows. You're crap for days. You're crap for days. Yes, that is true. Yeah, this is very wacky racers like, isn't it, Wolfaz? It's one of those cartoony kart racers. It just doesn't quite work as a game. I like, and also, you know, I finished 3rd and it's still game over, so I guess you get 1 race out of it. Maybe if you finish 1st, you get an extra race, I don't know. My real name is David Haywood, which is in the YouTube name. It says David MAME Hayes Haywood, I believe. Sprite scaling is fairly standard Super Volteca. It's just the Taito sprite scaling hardware. It's not bad, it's just maybe not being used to the best of its abilities. But yeah, this doesn't really do it for me. I like some of the presentation elements, I like the announcer, I like all the explosions in the attract mode, but I don't like the washed out colours, which seems to be intentional. And I don't really like the game much. At least the draw distance isn't as bad as, say, ground effects. Anyway, I will be looking at that one more on, say, one of the racing streams if I do another one. In the meantime, let's have a look at a port. Oops. I think this is one of those that abuses the disk information to run some code, or that's not right. To actually show a custom display instead of the disk catalog. I think it's got like control characters or something in the catalog, in the file names, which cause it to do that instead. Anyway, this is Psycho Pigs UXB, which is a port of Buta-san, which is also known as Pigs and Bombers. So this has got plenty of bombs in it. Now, the magazines really didn't like this at the time. I think maybe it was an overreaction against the completely inappropriate advertising that had nothing to do with the game. But the magazines really gave this poor reviews. And I don't think that's really fair, because to me this is always a fun game. All these pigs have been painted. Cow. You see, they fell in the paint, and now they're coloured pigs. And they take on the personality of the paint they fell in. Or maybe some of them are cows, painted as pigs, that just want to join in the game, throwing bombs around. But yeah, this is a really good arcade port, actually. It has the key elements from the arcade. It does slow down a bit, but so does the arcade. It's got the characters for each of the pigs. So, and as somebody, I really enjoy the arcade game, I don't know really why you'd give this a bad review. It's unique, especially, you've got multiple players. And it's one of those, you make your friends hate your games if you blow them up. And hey, Mess Drivers, thank you for joining. Yes, I tend to use David. Some people will use Dave, but, preference is David. And it does make things easier. I tend not to respond to Dave, which saves my neck a lot of turning around when somebody says Dave, which happens a lot. Servo speed. Almost going to blow up. There we go. Got ya. I blew myself up in the end, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, Mess Drivers. I think the Taito hardware is a lot better. I mean, it's better than even the sort of F3 hardware, that hardware, but it really doesn't come across that way. Same with a lot of the games of the period. Same with Super Ground Effects. Same with Operation Wolf 3. They all look terrible. Yet the hardware's really good. So you even got the bonus round in this, so it's not like they missed out the bonus rounds. So again, to me this is actually a really good arcade port to the CPC. And it's colourful too. Maybe the colours are a little bit ugly in places, but it's got the colours. Zonta, Violent Storm's an odd one, because I've had quite a few people send me videos from original hardware that aren't washed out for that one. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. That might be a resistor network thing on the boards, but then some people say the hardware is washed out, so a bit of a mystery. But there's like the people who have contributed to MAME who have made videos of that one where it doesn't look washed out using the same settings as other games they've recorded. So I'm pretty sure Violent Storm's not meant to be, but the reason it's not meant to be, I'm not clear about. Maybe the Taito games are missing an effect too. Maybe there's meant to be some darkness effect per line light brightness or something that we don't know about. But Chase Bombers is a very rare game, so there's not much in the way of references. And some of the other games that are similar are too. I think it's Under Fire, that's quite washed out, but again, no real references for it that I've seen. And no, don't blow the referee up. Yeah, there's, quite a few of the actors from those TV series are dying out now, aren't they, GP? Because they're getting to that age. You forget how old some of those shows are. Because they don't age on the screen. You kind of forget they age in real life, and the shows are from the 80s, or even before sometimes. So yeah, let's. I think this is a bit easier than the arcade, but that's not really a bad thing either. Although, saying that, I just died, and that's game over, so still get a decent game out of it, don't you? Psycho Pigs UXB, which I don't know how the entry thing works on this. Doesn't seem to respond to the same keys I defined for the game. That's unusual, but never mind. Anyway, not a bad port at all. In fact, I think it's quite a good port. Shall we stick with the 8-bit computers for the next game? So let's have a look at Eric and the Floaters for the ZX Spectrum. Now this game was developed by Hudson Soft for the Spectrum, and it is basically Bombman. So WX JL. Oh, don't want to speed it. Turbo speed's not useful here. But yeah, this was called Eric and the Floaters, which is a very odd thing to call your game, I have to say. And I'm not very good at it. Yeah. So this is official Hudson. This is what Hudson decided to call the game in the UK. There is a version of it also called Bombman, which might not be in the UK release, or might be a hack, I'm not sure. But this is the version that was most widely known. Pardon me. Eric is quite a British name. You can drop more than one bomb at once as well, which I've not been doing, but there you go. It's a bit slow down, but the mechanics are slightly different. If you see there, you can drop bombs not on an exact tile, whereas most more modern Bombman games you have to drop them on an actual tile. Very standard walk effect. Also, you know, things can go over the bombs. Yeah, Bombman got a lot of different names. Even in the arcades, it's Atomic Punk, New Atomic Punk, Dynablaster. I'm not sure why. Bombman is a perfectly fine name for the game. But that's the way it was. It's not one I played back in the day, to be fair. You can run over the bombs again, which means you can't trap things with bombs because everything can pass over the bombs, so the strategy is a bit different. There's a 3D Bombman game on the MSX. I wasn't aware of that, Aussie guy. What was that called? Just 3D Bombman. I do need to look into the MSX a bit more. It's not a system I'm... Oh, Bomb Auto Stage. Yeah, that's a fair mechanic. Looks like I turn into a cat when I die. Maybe Eric is a cat in a human body. Let's have another go. There we go. Yes, Santeri, people do like to make toilet jokes out of the title of this one, which is quite a common thing to do, which is why it's such a silly title to have used. I don't know who decided on the title. Yeah, I definitely look like I turn into a cat when I die. I'm not sure what that's all about. Yeah, Bombman's still a popular game for Tuna-chan. New releases all the time. It's one of those that, again, it's a couch multiplayer game that people just grew up with and enjoy. And I think it's one of those that I kind of missed the multiplayer experience. It's not one that any of my friends had or I played with, so I've not got that much attachment to the game myself. But I can kind of see why people have if they played it with other people. And it's quite satisfying to see all the bombs go off as well in this one. The slowdown adds dramatic effect. I know slowdown's traditionally not a good thing, but here it works in the game's favour. You see the bombs going off in slow motion, and it's very dramatic. And then you see yourself running to something in slow motion, and you go, oh. So yeah, there's that version, but there was also a version just released as Bombman, which I'll bring up now. Now I can't imagine this was a Japanese release, because I don't think the Spectrum is really distributed in Japan. So I'm not really sure what the story is behind having this released too. It seems to load less data, so it's probably an earlier version. But anyway. So your Japanese program is listed there, Hudson Soft 83. It's basically the same game though. I think it's slightly different graphic on the balloon, and I don't know. Unless this is an unofficial port of the MSX version or something. I really don't know. But yeah, this has been around in Spectrum format for a long time. Spatworm Belows the Sparky is a really good game actually. I need to find a way to have that on the stream at some point. Oh, come on. I didn't think I did that badly. But yeah, Fat One Blows a Sparky is a really ambitious 3D game that the title would probably have you believe was just some joke, but yeah, it's a good game. That's also possible R09. I mean, maybe Eric was the UK release and this was the European release. You know, Spain and France and the like. Because that did happen too. The Spectrum and, well, the 8-bits were generally popular in other countries around Europe. That's why there's still big development scenes for a lot of them, based in those countries. It is Bombman. Delta Ray Studios. Bombman on the Spectrum. It's also me running into things and dying. The mazes seem random as well, by the looks of it. You out the way? I do like playing a few Spectrum games though. It's a machine I grew up with, so it's always got a special place to me. Let's get the treasure. Treasure sounds good. There we go. Move out the way. No. No, but Mo definitely didn't make that one up. That is a classic Spectrum game, Just Dukes. Actually, it's a really good one. It's one I should definitely play at some point. Doesn't really fit the theme for tonight, but yeah, it's one I should play. Right, let's go this view then. Because the next one is not one that uses a traditional screen. This is the Game & Watch Safe Buster. So, shall we stick with this view with the case? Yeah, let's stick with this view with the case. Now, I'm not very good at this one. But you're collecting bombs. And then you're throwing them down the chutes. And you're not doing that because that's how things go boom. So yeah, this is Game & Watch running in MAME. I mean, if you've followed MAME recently, you'll know that last year there was a lot of work done on the Game & Watches, and eventually we got to the point where every single Game & Watch game is emulated in MAME. And they've all got this lovely artwork done by High Def and Darth Marino. They're really good looking games in MAME. fully emulated with the CPUs. This isn't the simulation, this is the game emulated. What else is in your Fat Worm games list, Bob? Is Wriggler up there, or is Wriggler not a Fat Worm? Or is Wriggler just a bad game? Centipede? Does that count? I mean, it's kind of a worm-like centipede. So yeah, I'm really bad at this game, but if you get enough bombs down the chute, you can create a big explosion at the top instead of the bottom. Unfortunately, most of the time, all I do is, well, die and lose all my lives. And people think I've never played this game before, which isn't true. I'm just bad at it. Fat Worm Blows the Sparky was on a cover tape too back in the day, so I think that's where a lot of people heard of it, and I think that's where I got my copy, was on a cover tape. Yeah, there aren't even many Sparky. I'm not very good at catching bombs, am I? Not very good at all at catching bombs. This is Safe Buster, the Game & Watch game, but safe is not safe with me around. In fact, it looks kind of like I'm being paid by the criminals now just to let them break into the bank. Maybe I am. Don't really like banks. So, you know, there might be something to that theory. Yeah, I think one of the best moments in MAME recently has been this Game & Watch emulation, because it just works so well, and they look so good, and they play exactly how they should. And it's going to be difficult to better this. It's a highlight. Obviously, Miss Dynamite's a good highlight too, but the level of work that went into these is still something I've not quite fully comprehended. And if I'm quiet, it's because I'm trying to concentrate, and you know how good I am at games if I don't concentrate. Drop some more balls on me, or bombs on me even. Now, of course, there's another bomb-themed Game & Watch. There's Bomb Sweeper itself. But I think I played Bomb Sweeper before, and I don't think I played this one before on stream. So this one got the nod for this stream. Obviously, I'm going to play a lot of games I've played before, because that's just the nature of this type of thing. But if I know there's one I haven't played before, I'll tend to pick it over one I have. Why I'm not going to play Bomb Fusion on the Spectrum today, because as much as it's one of my favourite games, I know I have also played it. This is how I end up missing chat messages, though, unfortunately. And missing bombs too. Yeah, graphical skills are important. I mean, there's so many things like the fruit machines and other handheld units that need proper artwork. I mean, for that Black Knight pinball, I quickly threw together something based on a scan I could find online, but it looked terrible. Somebody else could do a far better job than I could ever dream of doing. But yeah, the artwork, you know, is 50% of the work here. Without it, they're not worth playing. With it, they look just like the real thing. But yeah, the idea is you get the flame right up to the top and then it blows up the bombs at the top. And some people make it look so easy, but I don't. I make it look ridiculously difficult. This is on game mode A as well, which is apparently the easier mode. Yeah, a lot of people had them as kids and ruined them, and now wish they hadn't because they're worth so much. Or, you know, gave them away because for a long time they weren't popular, and then they suddenly became popular and valuable. Even the non-Nintendo ones these days are starting to go for a lot of money. And a lot of the non-Nintendo ones we still don't have any proper way of emulating, unfortunately. No techniques have been found to dump the MCUs. Yes, there's another set of Warp 1 just been added as well, actually. There's the proper Taito license set has been added, because the old set is just the Sun version without the license. But I don't actually have the ROM for that at the moment, so I've not included that in the stream. But yes, from having no sets of Warp 1, I think we'll be ending this year with 3 sets of Warp 1, which is surprising. So maybe other sets of Miss Dynamite will show up, who knows? Kind of start to feel maybe people have been holding on to things for a while and then selling them off once they realise they're emulated. It's the technique to this game I'm missing, because I'll get it all the way up there, then I'll have to wait for another bomb to drop, and suddenly it'll be a lot lower again. Is it just a case of working at it and not paying any attention to the height of where it is? Then I miss one and then it's all over again. Yeah, that's probably a source of failure, just the screen's failing, unfortunately. Now you can tip things down there, but there's no advantage to that really, as far as I can tell. But I don't think I managed to blow the top even when I did the video on my list of videos for Game & Watch. I'm just very bad at this one. It seems to be something I fundamentally don't understand, or it just requires not making a mistake for longer than I'm capable of not making a mistake. Yeah, Hazemaker remade Mario Cement Factory. He didn't make it studying the original code though, because I did ask him about that. I thought with them being emulated he might have studied the original code, but also I can't blame him, because trying to follow the original code for these things is a bit of a nightmare. The non-linear program counter and the like, and the weird way they pull up addresses, and it's quite complex. And even the main disassembler is not always clear, because the main disassembler tries to put the code in order, but that means the database pulls end up from the wrong address instead. Yeah, it's quite confusing. Anyway, yes. Safe Buster. Oh, I've got another life on there. Let's. I thought that was it. I've got another life to fail on. And fail I do. I complete my duty of failing. Right. So, yeah. If you've not played the Game & Watch games in MAME, yeah, give them a look. They're pretty good. Let's have a look at a game I'm not so keen on. I looked at Bomb Kick on a previous stream, and this feels kind of like a sequel to it by Limenko. This is Dynamite Bomber, and I'm not going to play this for long because I think it's absolutely terrible. And the sound emulation is awful too, so just keep that in mind. But it's a game with bombs, explosions, so I kind of have to play it. There we go. Straight off the bat, a bomb, and it blows up. More bombs, and they blow up. And there's even a bomb in the title. You're interested in Haze, are you there, GP? Right, so yeah, the attract mode makes it look okay. Single screen platformer. Turn it down a little bit. But it's just so awkward to play. But I'll coin it up and play it. I'll pick that thing called Dan. I'll be Dan the something. Any bob-omb state? Well, I hope not, Bob, because that might imply you were blowing up, and I don't think you really want to blow up. So you put the bombs down, and then what? You kick them. Also, ups jump, which is really annoying. But yeah, but it's kind of counterintuitive. So you have to put the bombs down, and you have to kick them at things. And I get a carrot for that. And I get an onion for that. Or I can fly with this character, can't I? I could just do this. So there we go, out of rank because I took too long. And the second round. I better get rid of these portals, don't I? Yeah, by default you're kicking too high as well. You have to hold down directions to kick in the direction you want, and or do maybe you press both buttons at once. I really don't know. But I just feel like I'm firing off bombs in random directions. Oh, they're portals you teleport through, not destroying them. Okay, that wasn't clear. That doesn't really help me either. But yes, there are definitely better bomb games with bombs, and I think we played one like at the start of the stream. It's also not clear what you can stand on, because they look like platforms, but they're not platforms, they're in the background. And I have no bombs. I have bombs. Okay. How do I get up here? Not like that. I do that like that. Now maybe this is one of those games where if you learn how to play it, you'll enjoy it more. I can't say I spent an excessive amount of time with it and tried to understand it any better. I've just kind of always been put off by the, you know, the initial feeling that it's just really awkward to aim anything or kick anything where you want it to go. And obviously the sound emulation is kind of bad. And if sound emulation is bad on a game, I get put off it. Look at it, I just want to throw the bombs in that direction instead of teleporting over here, doing that. I think you sort of do throw the bomb if you press both buttons at once, but then I can't work out how you get the trajectory right. And sometimes they go high, sometimes they go long, and it feels like the control scheme's just bad. I think it could have been a good game with a better control scheme, but... So if I press both buttons, it does that. If I press both buttons in that way, it does that. But I'm also dropping bombs at the same time, so I don't have to kick, otherwise my bomb counter goes down. No, I end up dropping bombs straight down when I want to throw them in direct... Yeah, you can see why it's just going to get frustrated with it. Incredibly frustrated with it. And games shouldn't do that, at least not this early on. You shouldn't be getting frustrated with the controls in the game because you can't do a simple attack on the enemy. That way. Now I gotta get rid of these because they're in the way. Maybe it's my... Maybe I can... It doesn't use 4 buttons. It just says 4 buttons in test mode. Maybe it's the... Yeah, maybe it's my default control mapping. Maybe I should try that. Maybe this will work better. Maybe it's keyboard ghosting issues. No, I'm still not finding it where I want. No, I can't play that one. I've tried it a few times, and every time I try it, I get really frustrated by it. Get annoyed by it and just don't want to play it anymore. And this was no exception. I just don't think it's a very good game. Like I say, it's no Penguin Brothers. I kind of want to play Penguin Brothers, but I've played Penguin Brothers on a few streams before, so I probably won't. So let's put on Namco's Warp. Now, vertical game, change layout. This has got Bombman-like elements to it, although I'm playing the Rock-Ola version because one thing that the source does note is the Rock-Ola version has a high score table, whereas the Namco version does not. So if you let the Rock-Ola version run the attract mode, you will see it does display the high scores. Also, this shows in the corner there if you can fire a bullet or not. It moves your bullet right to the corner, which seems to be intentional. Warp, warp. In a different maze. So yeah, you're killing the enemies that stick their tongues out by dropping bombs for the most part. So it's kind of Bomberman-like, isn't it? Even though this is Namco and not Hudson. And this came before Bomberman. Speed up. Oh, straight past it. Straight past it. It's a bit faster than the rest of it. There you go. See, this has a high score table in the attract mode, which shows Namco. But the parent set, the Namco set, doesn't have the high score table in attract mode. I don't think it even has anything about outside the high score, in fact. So, in this section, you're blasting things with your gun. Not getting blasted. It's got a Tank Battalion feel at this point, but it does mix things up when you go into the warp, which is what I've just done. Because now in the warp section, you're dropping bombs. You're trying to drop bombs. You're trying not to run into the enemies. So rather than fire your gun, you now drop a bomb. That takes out the enemies. Yeah, this is on a lot of family clones, I believe, Super Volteca. And it is interesting, say, in the sense that it's a Namco game that came before Bomberman. So Bombman might not have been quite as original as people seem to think it is. Obviously, Bombman does do its own thing too, with the walls and everything else. It's not just a grid pattern. But it can't be denied there are similarities in this game. Yeah, Warpman, that's the one. Let's give it another credit anyway. It's called many different things in the family clones. Got the frog. So far, I don't believe any cows have been harmed in the stream. So the cow will be happy about that. Unless cow himself or herself has fallen over something. I walk back. I didn't manage to voice. It's not too late to blow up some cow. I don't know if any games on my list have cows. Yay. Destroy things. But yeah, this is an addictive little early Namco game with slight Bombman type elements. Where sometimes you'll run into bullets, because running into bullets is fun. Or enemies. Running into enemies is fun too. So yeah, Warp. That's the game really. There's not much else to show about it. You've got your different scoring systems. It shows you the game mechanics here quite clearly. Simple game, fun game with bombs. Fits the theme. But that is probably all I will show of Warp. I'm sure people are fairly aware of that one anyway. Right, this one could also be on the driving game streams, and might be. Hot Chase by Konami. So, why is this one here? Well, your car's got a bomb in it. It's as simple as that, really, isn't it? But considering this runs on the same hardware as WEC Le Mans, this seems really badly programmed. And really glitchy. And really all over the place. And not a patch on WEC Le Mans. But there is a bomb in your car, and it will explode soon. Time is running out. That's all we need to know. I like that it tells me that the car has bulletproof glass, because that is important. I think the bomb already exploded, but you know. Let's insert a coin and play the game. Okay. I am aware of that. Now this did used to run much slower in MAME, but it's one of those where it seems to depend on interrupts being held and things like that, so it's not entirely clear if it's correct now or not correct now, but it seems to match original references better than it used to. But it still plays really badly. It slows down and speeds up depending on what the hardware can cope with. And also, I should probably try playing it with an analog controller. Or is it mapped to analog? Barely. Seems very all or nothing on the analog, unfortunately. So, I mean, I think if I had a bomb in my car, by now it would have blown up just from the sheer abuse the car has taken. But apparently it's a strictly timed bomb that only blows up when the time runs out. It can take any amount of abuse until that point. Which is probably a good thing, because it's going to get abuse. Yeah, this is the Michael Bay of Konami games with all the explosions. Everything explodes. If it can explode, it does explode. I think this feels more like a Jaleco game than a Konami game. This feels like it would be at home on sort of the same hardware as Cisco Heat and Big Run. It's got that same nothing really works well and nothing makes sense and everything feels like it's about to fall apart at any given second feel. Oh, look, the time ran out and the car blew up. Shall we try that again? You are 247 kilometers short of freedom. That's quite a long way, unfortunately. When you beat the game, you get to watch your car blow up too. Excellent! I love games where what you're trying to prevent from happening happens anyway. I mean, I don't understand why all these people are trying to shoot me down. I don't understand anything. I mean, I've got a bomb in the car. Isn't that enough? Isn't that plenty without, like, sending the choppers after me and the army after me? And, got a little hole in my screen. Yep, speed except you're the criminal. I mean, considering the glass is bulletproof, it doesn't look very bulletproof on the screen there. I'm going to say that for a start. They explicitly told me the glass was bulletproof, and I see bullet holes. So I think I need to get a refund on the glass. More explosions, more explosions. How many of these cars have bombs in them? There's a lot of things are blowing up. Definitely not just my car. You have to get that spot on, and it's not clear where spot on is. So I don't have multiple routes or anything like that, like Outrun. Now, there don't appear to be any cows in this game either, so cow is safe. Which is probably good, because cows and explosions are not a healthy mix. Oh dear, and we're about to go boom! The car is bulletproof, the camera isn't. Maybe my car is half the size of everybody else's. Maybe it's one of those toy cars with bombs in, like in GTA. And you're like a really little person driving it. I mean, that's possible, KO, because Cybertank is just as much as a mess as this is, and that was developed by Corland. So how come Corland did such a good job on WEC Le Mans? I don't know, because, say, this and Cybertank are a complete mess. It's got a fun element to it, but technically, it's just all over the place. But yeah, I mean, say until you fixed it some years ago, it did run at super slow speed, and then it was just far too easy. Now it just speeds up and slows down at will, but that's what the original hardware seems to do, so I'm assuming it's now correct. So yeah, let's keep going around this course. I want, you know, in that point I slowed down to nothing and still couldn't get back on the road to do the turn, so that even the handling is really bad on this game. Once you're on track to hit something, your driving skill doesn't really matter. You can slow down all you want, you're still going to hit it. Yes. Maybe this is Buggy Boy, just with a different kind of bugs. Okay, I didn't have the speed, but apparently that doesn't matter. The middle of the train has no collision. Yeah, it has that Cyber Tank feel to it. I'm reminded of Cyber Tank while trying to play it. Although Cyber Tank's frame rate's even worse. Cyber Tank updates every third frame. Plays really badly. Get out the way, idiot. Oh well, that was a bit of hot chase. Very dramatic game over, and I was still 232 kilometres short of freedom, so I don't think I was ever going to get free, really, was I? Although there was a stop coming up, so I guess I would have got some extra time at that point or something. However, I did not make it. I did not make it at all. I guess we should go with a classic next, shouldn't we? Mr. Jack. Mr. Bomb Jack. Go, go, go. Yeah, it's very much like the Amiga Outrun intro, if you've seen that. I'm sure GP has seen that. Although, good night, GP. Thank you for joining. The Amiga Outrun intro that is over the top, let's just say. Unfortunately, like most Amiga stuff, it's probably not going to run in MAME, so I'm not going to try it. But yeah, thank you for joining, and I hope you sleep well, GP. Good night. I'm tempted to try the Outrun now to see if the intro play. No, probably won't. If it does, I'll put it on the driving stream. If it doesn't, if I get to do another driving stream, I've still got another shooter stream to do, and another miscellaneous stream to do, and yeah. Possibly, no. I mean, I think Hot Chase was quite well distributed, so it's not a game nobody had heard of. I just don't think it's especially a good game. I think it's a very rough around the edges game. That it's one of those projects you kind of think should have maybe been abandoned, but obviously maybe it just had that little element of fun that meant enough players played it and gave it good location test reviews that despite the technical issues, it did well. I mean, not every popular game is well programmed. There's some, I mean, Double Dragon, for example. If you look at Double Dragon on a technical level, it's atrocious, but it's super popular even to this day. Mrs. Pepperpot. Ah, yes, Zypho will be doing marbles, won't he? Because it's a Thursday. I mean, I might be joining marbles in a bit then, because this stream's probably going to be only going on for another 10-20 minutes. As is standard, I try to do 3 hours. Sometimes they're going a bit longer, but 3 hours is standard. And this was mainly to demonstrate Mrs. Dynamite, and then throw in some similarly themed games. I could have played the port of this, I guess, because I think I played the arcade of this before, but didn't think of that earlier. There's a Spectrum game I want to play next, though. It might be the last one in the stream. Or it might not be. We'll see about the time. Yeah, see you there then, Jez. Yeah, it is about its starting time. I don't like to overlap with, streamers I watch either. I like to give them a bit of support. So I'll probably end this fairly soon and do that myself. Yeah, it's good fun, Kale. It's good to be part of the communities and support other people who are doing it. And I've discovered a lot of games through some of those people for the other systems, which again is kind of why I do these ones, because I hope people discover the arcade games they might not be aware of. Bombman they're probably aware of, but it fits the theme, doesn't it? I'm not going to spend too long on it. Oh, he flew in my way. So game over. I give Bombjack one more credit, because it's Bombjack. obviously, if you don't know Bomb Jack, you get more points if you get the lit bombs, which there's only ever one lit at a time. But that means you've got to carefully manoeuvre yourself around it, more so than just collecting what you see. Everything you see. And that means you die more. So risk reward. I mean, that's the key to so many games is risk reward. You're being tempted by the highest scoring options, but you're more likely to die if you go for them. It's sort of central to what makes a good arcade game, at least for the the classic ones. I still think it's a good mechanic in games today. A lot of the best games are offering you that choice. Risky route, more points. Harder enemies, more points. More powerful weapon, more chance of dying, but quicker kill times. It's a balance thing. Yeah, if you haven't heard of... Are you not a big fan of Bomb Jack then, Jazz? I mean, I think it is a classic game. I mean, he's like a little mascot that never really became a mascot. Little superhero. No, didn't make it. This credit's going even worse than the first one. Oh, I meant you've got to go. Okay, okay. Anyway. Yeah, I played it a lot on the Spectrum R09. Not so much the CPC. I think I played more Bomb Jack 2 on the CPC because it was more colourful. But I played a lot of Bomb Jack 1 on the Spectrum. But yeah, that was Bomb Jack. I mean, it's an all-time classic, is Bomb Jack. And it's going to hold up for many years to come, I think. Speaking of Spectrum... Now, this is a game I can't even remember fully how to play, so you're going to have to be kind. I just remember it being one of my favourite Spectrum games from back in the day. So this is Deactivators. The loading screen vanishes very quickly, but it's Deactivators. I think the 1 to 8K version, the loading screen just goes away like that. MAME has been around since '97, Mick. So yeah, it was one of the ones that was emulated in MAME fairly early on. Right. Keyboard. Enter. Right. QAOPM. That'll do. Start game from level 1. Now this is a puzzle game from '86. Prepare to deactivate building 1. So you control the little robots. So let's go to this room. Oh, we should try to. Oh, M is the other key, isn't it? That's not my robot. And I've probably failed this already because I died there. That's not what you meant to do. I can go down. So I can't get through there, I'd have to have gone the other way. But yeah, unfortunately, if you die... then you can't complete the level. I don't think there's anything I can do at this point. So I think I've lost the robot I need to actually do anything. So I'm probably just going to have to kill this robot off if I can. Yeah, I can't remember how to play this. This teleport goes to nowhere? Okay. How do I... That was quitting MAME. I quit MAME because I'd not disabled the key. Let's load that again. So you want to pick up the bombs and throw them through the holes in the rooms, and it's not really obvious unless you know how to play it. And I can't remember how to play it. Yeah, I know I used to be able to complete the first level, so I want to try and work out if I can still complete the first level, because that's quite embarrassing if I can't. But the first level is not a tutorial. The first level is, yeah, you get it right or it's game over, which is not the best design maybe, but once you get the hang of it again, it's not that bad. It's an enjoyable puzzle game. So, let's start. Save state. So if I mess up, I can go back. So yeah. Right. So I can control this robot. I can go here. The teleporter doesn't seem to work, so I can't use the teleporter. I can't go anywhere. Those are the two rooms I can go in. Right. So I can look in other rooms. I can look here. So I can potentially get that bomb, and I could throw it up. How do I get to that room? I'm sure the teleporter should have taken me there. Unless that teleporter takes me there. Yeah, it's a puzzle game. Now I want to change robots, so I have to do that, I have to do that, I have to select that robot. Yeah, now I control this robot. I think I have to get to the bomb without that robot getting me. So I think as soon as I fall down there, I've messed it up. That does teleport me up there, and I can go down here. Oh no, I'll get the bomb that way. And not quite what I wanted to do. No, I can't use this teleporter, can I? Because that goes nowhere. Can I change this one? I can't do anything there. I can go through here. I can fall down here. This is where I got the last time, though, isn't it? Where I'm now stuck here. But I've got this circuit thing. That means I can teleport. Okay, that's the teleport key, isn't it? Is it the teleporter key? I don't remember. Yeah, you can do this thing where you can throw the bombs as well, I think. Now I have one robot left that can't go anywhere. So yeah. Okay, I can't remember how to play it, I'm afraid. I cannot remember how to play that game, and it's been too long since I played it. I remember it's one I really liked as a kid, and you can pick up the bombs and throw them through the holes in the walls. That's why there's holes higher up, but I can't remember anything about how to actually play it at this point. So that's one to come back to. I thought I'd load it up, just have a look at it and see if I could remember anything, but it's not coming back to me immediately. So you just get bored while I try to figure it out, to be honest. Let's load another one that I'm not overly familiar with. And this is where the stream just really goes downhill, because I'm just trying to play games that I've not played in years. Let's load Bombman for the Tomy Pyuuta. You're still seeing a hot chase. You're not too far behind then, mess drivers. You're not too far behind. So what are the controls on this? 8, 2, 4, 6. Okay. Again, we have some bombs, and I believe So I don't use 8246. I do use 8246. Okay, okay. Now, I think you put them out. Don't walk into them. Sometimes not knowing what you're doing is the fun, isn't it, Thomas? And you sort of work it out with time, or sometimes you don't work it out and you never know what you're doing, and you still have fun anyway. So, yeah, somebody is throwing bombs over the fence. As you do. That one's landed out of bounds, so I don't think I have to care about that one. You're throwing bombs at me. Yeah, just continue to do that. I don't care about those ones. Let's water the trees. It's probably not what you meant to do, but I feel like I'm watering a tree. Oh, that one looks more dangerous. So how much do I have to water a bomb? Do I have to water the bomb? I feel like I have to water the bomb, but I'm not sure. I feel like that one's about to blow up, so... Well, there we go. I got 200 points. It didn't blow up. That's probably a good thing. Somebody looks like they come out of a shower. Or maybe it's Sonic. Is that Sonic? Do you think that's possibly Sonic the Hedgehog? I feel like I've run out of water. I can't just hold it down anymore. I think that's about to explode. That would be bad. Do I go here for more water? I better do, don't I? Yeah, I get more water up there. Do I? I don't seem to have more water. That's unfortunate. Uh-oh. Now I'm tiny. What's going on? It was released as the tutor in the US, but most of the games weren't, Bob. So yeah, I don't really know what I did wrong there. I can actually refill my water. But clearly something bad happened. I'm assuming the top left there, top right there is something to do with the water refill. But I also don't think I can destroy the bombs until they start flashing. Maybe I just have to position myself correctly. Maybe. Oh, that. You position yourself there and it refills. That makes sense, actually. So I get to these ones. Now I think I can do something with these ones. Yeah. There we go. So I don't think I can do anything with them at this state because they just don't. Oh, they do. They do get put out like that. You have to do them from the right side, maybe. Oh, apparently running that person explodes you too. Alright, see you later, Jazz. Take care. So let's give this one another try, because this seems quite an original little bomby game with bombs. Called Bombman, not Bomberman. I think you can only pull out the bombs from one side then, maybe? Not entirely clear yet. Why is my thing now white? I really don't know. Or is white good? No, white's not good. Blue's good. So yeah, it is that. I believe it is the same chipset. Mesh drivers. got some fairly ambitious games on it. With a name like The Tutor, you wouldn't expect that. Expect the US version being The Tutor. But there's some good games. There's like a 3D game that's added recently. So, oh, I can put you out too. Okay, fair enough. TMS or awesome look. It is kind of an awesome look, isn't it? I mean, it's not a look I grew up with, but I do appreciate how it looks. And this was one of those, you know, I'm still trying to do a little bit of multi-platform on the stream, which is why I put Deactivators in, even though I wasn't sure how to play it anymore. But this is, again, playing in that maze multi-platform. Now, obviously, I'm playing this on the easiest difficulty. It does have different difficulty settings, which is what it's asking you at the start of the game. Yeah, it's very, very similar to the SG-1000. I mean, the SG-1000, and the Master System even has backwards compatibility with some of the modes of this. Don't walk into bombs, they hurt. Ah, again, risk reward. Yes, Thomas. I didn't realise that, but yes, that is that. Anyway, this was Bombman. And that has taken us over the 3-hour mark. So, yeah, the TI-99-4A, very similar as well. Yes, Mesh Drivers. So that's taken us over the 3-hour mark. So at this point, I will be saying the stream is over. And I will not be doing any more hot sauce unless I should. No, let's do some bit more hot sauce to end the stream. So, you know, let's end the stream with some hot sauce as we did earlier. So, you know, here is the hot sauce once more. Here is a spoon. There is me doing a spoon of hot sauce. And thank you, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. The hot sauce is hot.